My name's Chelsea, and I'm getting ready to pack up my whole life in California and move to Ireland. Moving to a different country isn't just about packing some boxes and booking a flight. There's a lot that's going to go into it, and I want to go through some of the things that we absolutely needed to do and some things that we really didn't need to do. So, if you're planning an international move, I hope this will help with some of the overwhelm. So let's start off with some of the things that we absolutely needed to do to make this move a reality. Number one was our passports and visas. Before anything else, we needed to make sure our passports were up to date and valid. I know this seems obvious, but it's really easy to think you have so much more time left on your passport than you actually do. Luckily for us, everything was up to date. And then next up, we had to do some research on the requirements for my stamp 4 visa. Because my husband is an Irish citizen, our daughter gets Irish citizenship by descent automatically. So we really just need to apply for her passport, which we plan to do once we get there. But as for me, I will qualify for a stamp 4 visa. How that will work is I will enter in on the standard 90-day tourist visa when we arrive, and I just let them know at customs that I'm here to join my Irish spouse. And within those 90 days, I need to make an appointment at immigration, apply for the stamp 4. The process is pretty simple. When we go into immigration, we bring a copy of our marriage certificate, proof of residency, and proof of private health insurance. And then that's it. Once I'm approved for the stamp 4, I'm able to live, work, go to school, just like any other Irish resident. The next thing we needed to do was figure out what our housing situation was going to be. This is a big one, and I can't really sugarcoat this. Housing in Ireland is rough right now. Rental costs are sky high. They are really comparable to here in San Diego, which is kind of crazy because San Diego rents are really, really high. And inventory is super limited. So it makes when you're trying to find a rental property very competitive. And then the same goes for home buying. There, again, limited inventory. The home buying process is very different than what we're used to here in America. The bidding wars can be intense, especially around like the Dublin area. So we will be looking for something outside of Dublin just to keep things more manageable and more reasonable. Luckily, we have enough equity in our house that we're going to be able to buy a house completely outright with cash when we get there. And so in the meantime, what we've been doing is we've just been looking through DAP.ie to manage our expectations, to see what we're really going to be able to afford and what areas we plan to settle in. When we do get there, we do plan on staying with my father-in-law just until we find something more permanent. Our expectations are that it could take a while, so we're gonna get comfortable. Next up is business and home sale. When I say we are packing up everything, we are packing up everything. We are moving our entire lives. So we are selling our home, our cars, our business, everything. As far as the business sale goes, I will need to be back and forth between Ireland and San Diego over the next few months until that sale closes. But I will talk more about that in a future video. For now, I plan to be doing quite a bit of traveling. Now, as far as our home sale goes, we have been working in overdrive, just trying to get all of these unfinished projects buttoned up and ready to put our home on the market. And it officially goes on the market today. So we do expect a fairly quick turnaround time, around 6 to 8 weeks before we're completely out of our house and closed on escrow. And honestly, the timing of everything has been the most stressful, but we've been making it work. Now, number 4, moving with dogs. We have 2 dogs that of course have to come with us. We will not leave them behind. But the problem is they are both smush face breeds. We have a Frenchie and a pug. And so figuring out how to get them there has been a little bit more challenging than maybe like a standard breed because they cannot fly in the cargo hold due to health concerns. Both small dogs, but they're a little bit on the larger side of the small dogs. So if you're bringing your pet in cabin, they will have a weight limitation that includes the dog and the carrier that they're in. So they are, I think even our smallest one might be just slightly over, or he might be right on the cusp of that weight limitation. But after doing a lot of research and just talking to other pet owners and what they've done, we decided to fly with Delta. Delta does not have that weight limitation. They just have to fit comfortably in their carrier and they have to fit under the seat. So we plan to do a layover either at Atlanta or JFK and then into Dublin. So in the meantime, what we've been doing is we've been just trying to get them used to their carriers, giving them lots of treats, lots of really good chew toys, and then going on short drives, longer drives, just to get them comfortable and making travel day easier on them. Now, as far as like the health requirements of getting them into Ireland, Ireland does have very specific health requirements that you have to meet. And this avoids any kind of quarantine, and we can just bring the dogs right in. So number one is they have to be microchipped, with which both of them are. Number two is they have to be up to date on their rabies vaccination. And if it's their first one, there is a time frame that has to be done in, but they're on boosters at this point. They're up to date, so they're good to go. And then number three is they have to have USDA certified pet health certificate for the EU. That has to be signed and stamped within 10 days of arrival into Ireland. So that one is where I'm a little bit more stressed just because of the time frame, but I've already talked to our vet. They said that they do that all the time and they'll just send in the paperwork to the USDA, send it back to us, and we should be good to go. And then the very last thing they have to do is just they have to have a deworming treatment for tapeworm 1 to 5 days before arrival. Next up is school enrollment. So our daughter is 4 years old. She is about to start transitional kindergarten, or TK, here in California. In Ireland, that is the equivalent of junior infants. The school system's a little bit different than it is here, as far as you're not guaranteed a spot in your neighborhood school. If your neighborhood school is full, they're not going to accept you. You have to go somewhere else. Right now, what my sister-in-law has been doing for us is she's getting in contact with the local schools next to my father-in-law's house and see if they have availability and can take her in. We do want to start her in school when we get there. We can get her in a routine and a sense of stability while we get settled. Once we do land on our more permanent housing, we will go ahead and we will transfer her to a school that's closer to where we're at. Medical and insurance. So like I talked about earlier, I'm really hard to have private medical insurance. We do plan on getting an insurance plan for the whole family. One, it's a lot more affordable in Ireland than it is here in the US. It's very different. They do have universal health care. So the private health insurance does give you quicker access to care typically. And then we will also have to try to find a GP for us to get into as a family. And that can be kind of difficult as a lot of them aren't taking new patients. So we will probably start doing that sooner. We'll start doing that sooner rather than later once we land. And then lastly was financial planning. So we trying to figure out how we're going to get money from the US into Ireland. We decided to open up a Wise account. So any kind of smaller transactions that we're making, we're going to transfer it over through Wise. And then once we have to make a bigger transaction, like a purchase of a house or a car, we'll do it directly through the bank. And then once we get there, we can open up a local account with either Bank of Ireland or something similar. Getting into what we really didn't need to do. Number one is shipping a ton of stuff. This one was really hard. We're trying to bring as little as possible to keep our shipping costs low, but packing everything we own is not only emotional, but it's also overwhelming. Generally speaking, shipping an entire household is not going to be worth it for us. We're not bringing any furniture. We're not bringing anything that plugs in unless it's dual voltage and it's something that we really need, like computers, phones, PS5, things like that. Everything else, we are downsizing as much as we possibly can. Again, it's been really hard. We packed some stuff. I even went back through the stuff we've already packed to try to downsize even further. And I've managed to get down by one box. So let's see what we can make happen. Number two is picking a perfect arrival date. So my husband and I have been talking about this move for years. And when I say for years, it's probably like been the entirety of our relationship. Every time he goes to Ireland, he says it's been getting harder and harder for him to get back on that plane and come back to California. He misses his family. He misses the culture. He really misses everything about Ireland. And so we knew this move was going to be coming. We just didn't know when. Trying to time it around life events, business, political climate has been tough. We were always wrestling with when we were going to go. Like, the truth is, there really is no perfect time. No matter what, it's going to feel emotional and it's going to feel messy, but there comes a point where you just have to pick a date and go. And that's what we did. And it has made this process speed up so quickly, but we're ready for it. And this was more for me because I am a San Diego native, was trying to go into tourist mode before I go and trying to hit all my favorite like bucket list items in San Diego one last time. Honestly, that just put too much pressure on me between packing and working and trying to get the house ready and trying to move, plus doing all this stuff on top of it. So I do plan to pick a few places that I really want to see one last time before we go, but I'm no longer trying to romanticize the goodbye and just carry the memories that I have. So this has been a lot, but honestly, it is totally doable. The hardest part is like that weird in between where like life feels paused and we're about to jump, but not quite there. So my biggest advice is to give yourself more time than you think you actually need, and be ready to pivot and pivot often. Got questions about moving abroad? Drop them in the comments. Or if you've already done it, what do you wish you've known beforehand? And don't forget to subscribe, because my next video is going to be all about all the things that we are looking forward to once we move.